Children, today we will learn about the next physical feature of our country, that is the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats. These are mountain ranges in the west, okay, on the west coast. These are the mountain ranges, they are called as Western Ghats, and in the east the mountain ranges are called as Eastern Ghats. Now what are Ghats? Ghats are nothing but mountains. Yes, they are the Marathi word for mountains is Ghats. But there is a technical difference. You can see in between two mountain ranges there is a valley kind of a thing created, that is called as ghats. So now let's see the direction of these two ghats. Now you can see the Western Ghats run parallel from, you can see Tapi river right up to Kanyakumari. Here is Kanyakumari. So it's a continuous hills that you can see in the western part, and in the eastern part right from Odisha, that is the Mahanadi river, right to the Nilgiri hills, okay, and then they join in the Nilgiri hills. So this is the direction, okay. So they are running from north east to south west, and here they are running from north south direction, okay, north south direction. Understood? So Eastern Ghats further, you can see this is the Mahanadi river to Nilgiri hills. This is the hills in the east coast, okay. Children, if you look at the width of the Western Ghats, it is much narrower. You can see between 50 to 80 kilometers. This is the width. Eastern Ghats are much more wider. They vary from 100 to 200 kilometers. So we can say the Western Ghats are narrower, and here they are much wider, okay. Children, let us see which are the rivers which are originate in the Western Ghats, okay. The large rivers Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kapri, they all originate here, and they flow eastwards and empty out into the Bay of Bengal, okay. So all source, many large rivers flow from the peninsular India, here from the Western Ghats, and here no big river originates from this Eastern Ghats, okay. And all which are the big rivers, let us see. You can see here Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna originating from the Western Ghats and emptying out into the Bay of Bengal, and when they empty out they form deltas, okay. Now what is a delta? Now a delta is a finger like projection, okay. You can see when the river is now about to empty out into the sea, this is called the mouth of the river, and it's filled with sediments. And how will it empty out into? So it forms distributaries, okay, and here the soil gets collected, which forms a delta. So it is like a finger like projection, okay. Now, and which are the rivers which originate in the Western Ghats? There are very few rivers. You can see here Mahi, Sabarmati, Narmada and Tapi. Now to just give you a closer look, you can see this is Tapi, Narmada, Mahi and Sabarmati, to extend Luni also. These are the rivers which empty out into the Arabian Sea in the Western Ghats. And when they empty out, they do not form a delta, they form an estuary. Now what is an estuary? Estuary is here, they directly flow into the sea, okay. There no delta is formed, no sediments are collected, they come down and directly empty out into the sea or ocean, okay. So that is called an estuary. Regarding the rainfall in the Western Ghats, you can see the southwest monsoon winds, they go perpendicular to this and they cause heavy rainfall in the Western Ghats, whereas the Eastern Ghats, they are parallel to the monsoon winds, so they go parallelly, and so this area does not get much of rainfall. When do they get rainfall? Only when the monsoon winds retreat and they pick up moisture from Bay of Bengal and then give rainfall to the Eastern Ghats. So you can see here, this is where we'll do it in detail when we do climate of India. So you can see this is the southwest monsoon winds. Yes, they're like going perpendicular, giving lots of rainfall in the Western Ghats, whereas the Eastern Ghats, they do not get rainfall. So when the monsoon winds retreat, that means monsoon winds are blowing from sea to land, and when they retreat, they blow from land to sea, and on the way, because they're parallel, they get little rainfall. Only then, when they retreat, then certain rainfall they get in the Eastern Ghats, okay. Children, now let us look at the physical divisions of the Western Ghats. You can see they are continuous hills. Okay, they are continuous hills, right? There is no break, continuous hills, and in between there are gaps which are passes, okay, through which navigable passes which people can do trade and go around. So they are continuous hills. Here they are broken up. You can see there's a hill here. Why are they broken up? Because here the rivers are draining into the sea, so they have cut down these hills and they form deltas here. So that is why they are discontinuous hills, okay, by the rivers. Now let's look at the passes. As I have told you earlier that Western Ghats are continuous and can be crossed through passes only. Now which are the passes? You have the Thal Ghat, Bhor Ghat, Thal Ghat which links Nasik and Mumbai. Then we have the Bhor Ghat which links Mumbai to Pune. Then you have the Pal Ghat which links Kerala and Tamil Nadu. And we have the Senota Ghat Pass which links Thiruvananthapuram and Madurai. So these are the passes on the Western Ghats. Okay. Now look at the elevation. Here the hills are about 900 to 1100 meters above sea level. So in the north they are less high, but as you go down south they become very high elevations. Okay, very high peaks. Not peaks, but the mountains are higher, not high as the Himalayas, but yes, they are between 900 to 1100 meters. And on the Eastern Ghats you can see the average is 600 meters above sea level. Okay. Children, the highest peak on the Western Ghats is Anamudi, and here in the Eastern Ghats it's Mahendragiri. So let's look into the details. You can see here in Orissa this is Mahendragiri. In the Eastern Ghats is the highest peak, 1501 meters. And there are other two hills also there. There are Javadi Hills here in the Eastern Ghats and Chevroy Hills. Okay, and on the Western Ghats, which is the highest peak, Anamudi, 2695 meters. Okay. So children, let us see the main crops that grow on the Western Ghats is mostly coffee, and in the Eastern Ghats it's mostly rice. So children, we have finished with the Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. Let us revise again. So where are the Western Ghats? On the western edge of the Deccan Plateau. They are on the Eastern Ghats are on the eastern edge of the Deccan Plateau. As I told you, these hills are continuous and can be crossed only by passes. These are discontinuous hills because of the rivers which are dissecting and draining into the Bay of Bengal. What is the height of the mountains here? It is between 900 and 1100 meters. Here it is, the average height is 600 meters. Now this is a source of large rivers. Godavari, Krishna and Kapri originate in the Western Ghats, and you can see here no rivers are originating here. Now here they get orographic link because all the monsoon winds, the southwest monsoon winds hit the mountains of the Western Ghat and drop all the rainfall there. So it is orographic rainfall. And this hardly receives rainfall, and mostly in the winters by the northeast winds when the monsoon winds retreat. Okay, that we will be learning in the climate chapter. As I told you, the height of the Western Ghat increases from north to south. The north they are less high, towards the south they are more high. So the highest peak is Annamudai, as I told you, and Doda Beta. Okay, these are the two highest peaks. Here the highest peak is Mahendragiri, and the two other hills, Chevroy Hills and Javadi Hills, okay, in the Eastern Ghats. So this is all about Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. Next children, we will learn about the coastal plains. And so you children, you see this is our coastal area, the wide coastal area. We have done it in our first chapter, and today we are going to do Eastern and Western coastal plain. Let us look at the Western coastal plain. Here, this is a plain land in between the Western Ghats. Here is the sea, Arabian Sea. So it is sandwiched between the Western Ghats and Arabian Sea. It's a plain land. Okay, and how is it formed? As I've told you earlier, due to the erosion and deposition of the sea and even the mountains which get eroded, and then the deposition takes place. So there's a plain land here which is called as the Western coastal plain. Similarly, we have the Eastern coastal plain on the eastern side, sandwiched between Eastern Ghats and Bay of Bengal. So you see it's a plain land here. Okay, so you can find out the difference. Here it is much broader. You can see it's much broader because the rivers are draining in and forming delta into the Bay of Bengal. And whereas you see here, this side, the western coastal plain is much narrower because the rivers don't make delta, they form estuaries, they flow directly into the sea. Okay, the next thing that we must know about it is that we divide the western coastal plain into three parts. Now from Mumbai to Goa it is called as Konkan coast, then in Karnataka it is called as Kannad plain. Why is it called Kannad plain? Because of the language they speak. And then down below till Kerala it is called as the Malabar coast. Okay, now in the eastern coast, from here Tamil Nadu right up to Andhra Pradesh, little part of Andhra Pradesh, it is called as the Coromandel coast, and further to Orissa it is called as Northern Circles. So children, that's all about the coastal plains. Let's revise. The narrow coastal slips flank the peninsular plateau, running along the Arabian Sea on the west and Bay of Bengal on the east. Now, on the western coast, it consists of, it divided into three sections. Northern part is called as Konkan, between Mumbai and Goa. Then central stretch is called as the Kannad plain, and the south stretch is called as the Malabar plain. And let us see the other features. The plain along the Bay of Bengal are wide and level, and the northern part is called as Northern Circles, and the southern part is called as Coromandel coast. And large rivers like Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri form the delta on the eastern coast. And here we find on the eastern coast there is a Lake Chilka. It's an important feature in the eastern coast. So this is all that you should know about the coastal plains.